Okay, so an amazing thing happened tonight. Both kids are asleep by 9 o'clock, which is amazing and hardly ever happens. So, what I wanted to do was get in my craft room. I feel the need to just make some crafts. So, I have a baby shower coming up soon for a friend at church. She's having a little boy, and I thought a great item to give any new mom is a wet bag. Even if they don't cloth diaper, they're inevitably going to be poo blowouts. You're going to have dirty clothes, burp rags, trips to the splash park or something. You're in a wet swimsuit. There's lots of uses for a wet bag. And this is the new one by Bum Genius. This tutorial is not about a wet bag though. It is about the card that goes with the package. So I wanted to take my inspiration from the gift. I purchased this at Michael's the other day. They were having 6 sheets of their open stock cardstock for $1, which is a great deal. It was just this great, great gray pattern paper that I like. It's very sophisticated. I thought it would be great to kind of represent the gray in the wet bag. And then I needed some blues to go with it. So I'm trying to use up my old Stampin' Up! Cardstock. This is the Rich Regals collection. You kind of see some of the colors in here. And they've got 2 great blues. If you look, that's pretty spot on. So I was pretty happy with that. So these are the cardstocks I'm going to be using, and what I really needed to do was just figure out how I was going to layer these. So, and this is kind of my inspiration card, not really, but it gives you an example of like how many different layers there are. I mean, there's 1, 2 with the white, 3 with the orange, 4 with the blue, and 5 with another white. So I mean, that's a lot of colors, and that doesn't even take into account this little rainbow accent. So you can really stack up quite a bit of cardstock on the front of your card, and that's what I was going to try to do with this particular card. One thing I like to keep in mind is that you're going to be writing in these cards, so I try to stay away from having the darkest color be the actual card base, because then it's, unless you use like a silver ink, it's really hard to write and have your text be visible. So I wanted to use this lighter blue as the base of the card. So let's move these other ones out of the way. Now in this card I went blue and then a white. And then the pattern, and then another color. And I thought that looks awful. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like that at all. So take out the white, the light blue, this, we're going to bring this out a little bit. And then we'll do another blue, and then white. And I just thought that looked a lot better. I thought it broke it up kind of nice. Light, dark, light, dark, light. Good. So then I wanted to kind of figure out what I was going to do to jazz up this card. Obviously the wet bag has a star motif, so I went to look at my stamps that had stars in it. I have a really good example here. This is from Close to My Heart. It's the Stitched Together stamped collection. I don't know if you can see it. They've got this great star with the stitched edge, and then kind of other border stamps that are all stitched. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cute because, you know, stitched, I'm giving her a textile. I like that. But I don't like this stamp paired up next to this pattern paper. It's just way too sophisticated, and this is way too whimsical. I just thought they clashed. So skipped on that one and went with this one, which is also Close to My Heart, but it's their Love Life stamp set, and they have this great star in here that I just really liked. And then they also had a sentiment, the Live, Laugh, Love, which I think is good advice for any parent. So I'm going to use these 2 stamps, but I had to kind of figure out how. I like how in this card you've got kind of a horizontal pattern going on. And one thing I think is really neat is creating your own pattern paper. So I used that star stamp and I made kind of my own border, and I can just cut this out and I'll have a nice like star border that I can use. So this one. And now you kind of see how I'm going. Now this blue ink is also from Stampin' Up. It's not quite navy. And then for the sentiment, the Live, Laugh, Love, I was thinking of stamping that on this blue in a really creamy white ink from Stampin' Up. It's their craft ink. It's a little thicker. It's called Whisper White. My sentiment stamp is brand new, so it's still got that really sticky aspect to it. I don't know if you guys have ever played with these clear stamps, but they're really sticky when they're brand new. So what I like to do is use one of these old school gum erasers. Just basically pretend like you're trying to erase the whole stamp. You want to cover the whole stamp. I'm not sure exactly what it does. I don't know if it like texturizes the plastic or what, but it just helps the ink have something to hold on to. And then I have this little paintbrush, and I just brush off as much of the eraser bits as I can. And now give it a good look. Everything looks like it has been prepped, so hopefully this will stamp a lot better. I should have done before and after so you can guys see how much it improves it, but then I'd had to clean off the ink and blah blah blah. Now I let my daughter play with this, and she mixed up the stamps a little bit, so there's a little bit of yellow, but it'll be okay. So, hi Duchess. So I'm just going to ink up my stamp really, really well. Because this is a sentiment stamp, those edges are really important, so I just want to make sure I have my stamp loaded. You might do things differently, but this, like I said, this just works best for me. Okay. The great thing about this acrylic block is that it's got, let's move everything else out of the way, is that it has lines on it, so I can kind of line everything up. Pretty good. Okay. One thing to keep in mind, everyone knows that this is a homemade card. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, I like it to look nice. Now it is time to bring in my bypass trimmer and start cutting down our paper. So, I want my card to be this way, to open this way. So I'm going to cut my paper in half this way. That's a great thing about using 8.5 by 11 cardstock, is that you just have to cut it in half. So you're going to cut it at the 5.5 inch mark. And each piece of cardstock you get enough to make 2 cards. And now this one is going to be the next step in. Remember, next step in, we're going to cut it at 5.25. And then 4 inches. This one is getting cut at 5 inches and 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut to 3 3/4 first, just so I can salvage as much paper as I can. And I'm cutting off of this edge instead of this edge, so that way I keep the paper identification with the big scrap. So 3 3/4, line it up top and bottom. And then 5 inches. Alright, looking good. So now I've got this going across. Cut it at 5 inches. And I just need a strip. So first I'm just going to eyeball a strip. So that is right about 2 inches. And then I just need a good 5 inches out of it. So let's cut off this little bit because this is kind of boring. And now I need 5 inches. This is 3 inches by 5 inches. And then the sentiment will go right there. Well, let's stamp it and see what we think. I mean, I could do a tutorial where I just walk you through it really easy, but I think you actually learn more from other people's mistakes. So that's why I like kind of making it up as I go. I mean, I have a rough idea when I start the video, but you never really know how it's going to turn out until I start putting it together. We're going to need to cut it down a little bit. There we go. Alright, so now I'm just going to glue everything together and we'll have our card. I like it. Alright, so there you have your wet bag inspired baby shower card. Alright, so I cut enough material to make 2 cards, so I'll just put this one in my stash. But one thing that I thought of doing with this one, but the star placement wasn't quite right, is making this kind of more of an accent. So I happen to have a full star right here, and my safety scissors. I don't know where like my really nice scissors are, but safety scissors will work. I'm just going to cut this out. Alright, and then take the very last pop dot on your sheet. And there you go. Keep in mind when you add embellishments like this, sometimes they don't mail very well, but this is an instance where I'm just going to be handing her the card, so it's not going through the mail. So this will probably be the one I give her, and this will be the one I save and mail. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll try to make more of these videos now that I have a little bit more free time to myself. Have a great day.